If you need a if you need a driver's license in your job, please check the box for that. And I don't think anyone uses or requires a CDL license and uses a truck that large. But if I'm wrong, please indicate the CDL as well. The bottom of this page deals with several other technology questions. Those are most applicable to IT, but there might be other positions in the organization as well that has those responsibilities. Those would deal with the training of other people in information technology or the use of specialized equipment, also troubleshooting for software problems, and generally doing the more advanced information technology work. So if you have any of that, let me know that as well.
Question for you: what if you have a job classification where you have one person out of that job classification that does do stuff like that, but the others don't?
How sophisticated are we talking about? Kind of informal help desk or something more?
No, modifying reports, all those kind of things.
Yeah, you should indicate it on here. And what position are we talking about?
Well, I'm a drain inspector, but I handle a lot of the updating of reports, using personal reports for the time.
Okay. Enter it on there, because if nothing else, if it doesn't indicate a separate position, at least it indicates additional duties that should be on the job description for one individual who does that type of work. Anybody else? Any questions on this? Okay. That's pretty much the end of it. If you go to page 6, there's a whole page that allows you to give me any additional information on anything, or possibly anything that I miss that you think is important. And again, this is something that you can write forever if you care to. I get people who write very long dissertations on the things that I missed. Other people write nothing. So that's up to you. If you get to the end of this questionnaire and you think it's important to state something else, please feel free to do so. Now, when you've completed the questionnaire, if you look at page 7, this is intended for your supervisor, i.e. your department head. So what you're going to do when you complete the questionnaire, several things. One, staple that job description that we've been relying on, that you've possibly put some scrawls on. Staple that to the job questionnaire. The job questionnaire will have been printed, whether you filled it out electronically or whether you used the hard copy. You're going to have a printed copy to give to your supervisor. This will ensure, and not that anyone ever would alter anything, sometimes we get an employee or two that have the concern that they don't want supervisors to have any opportunity to potentially alter anything on their job questionnaire. So if you print it and give it to the department head, we can be assured that won't happen. The other thing that is pertinent here is the timeline for the department heads. What we're asking is that all department heads have these returned to the county administrator, or the personnel department at the August 11th date that's listed on here. What I meant to say was the department heads themselves, their review will be done by the county administrator. That would be the final review. But all of the questionnaires will hopefully be reviewed by August 11th. They will then be finalized by me, reviewed by me, and we will set up interviews with the department heads and other supervisors at a date just beyond that point. The other thing that I would ask you to do, if you fill this out electronically, please save the electronic file. And they will be going to Kelly in the Human Resources Department, and I'm not sure exactly how that's going to be structured yet, but please hold on to them and there'll be a communication back to you. When I do the job description development, some of you will have very lengthy and a lot of times very pertinent input on those job questionnaires. If I can get the electronic version, there are things I can copy over. It would make my life a whole lot easier. So if you use that particular vehicle, please save it. And ultimately, it'll get forwarded to me. So the interviews will likely take place in August, and we'll start with department heads, and depending on what is required and how much information is required from other people in the organization, might extend down into second-level supervisors and also individuals if we have very unique positions. I think we'll be in pretty good shape and have a good understanding of what's required after I get a chance to review the job questionnaires. So, final questions on either the process itself or the job questionnaire? Sir? Yeah. There will be people helping me with job description development and some of the other support tasks.
Together or separate?
Well, they're part of my team. But
What I'm saying is, well, one person is in your company, do this department, one do this department?
No.
Or will things be all done on a level playing field?
I understand your question. What I found is that when you're doing the point factoring, if you want to do it right and you want to do it accurately, you've got to have the whole broad perspective on the organization. Ideally, this is done by one person. And at least initially, that's the approach that we're going to take, I'm going to take. I will review the 200 job questionnaires for purposes of understanding the organization. Other people will get some of that input from me for purposes of drafting job descriptions and the like. But we're going to try to keep all of this in my head. So when we do the point factor analysis, it's kind of a tricky process in the sense that this isn't an established science by any means. What you're trying to do is find the relative value of all the jobs in the organization in relation to each other. And that's hard to do unless you understand the whole organization. There are a lot of human resources consulting firms that use a large team, and they chunk off pieces to each consultant. But there are a lot of challenges, and I've worked in that manner. There are a lot of challenges in pulling it all together. I think we can do a much better job if we keep this small and simple.
Yeah, because it's subjective, a lot of this is subjective, just like Jeff was saying, how would you know, or you may know what the priorities are that you want, but somebody else will be over here, they would know what the priorities are. So
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that, they're all being consistently reviewed, I guess, is what I'm saying, not piecemeal.
No, I'll give you an example. Ingham County will be coming up next year. I don't know who's going to be doing it, if it's going to be us or someone else. They have double the classifications you have. I think it'll probably be literally impossible for one person to hold all of that information, to do it in a timely manner unless they want to wait a year for the results. But Livingston County is right at that cusp where it's still doable, where I can be the primary consultant for this project without having to rely on other people for primary pieces that are really, really important to the final report development. I couldn't do that in Ingham County. It's too big. But here we can do that. and it will be, I think, to everybody's advantage. Sir?
You had said that if there's multiple people in a job to list them on a separate piece of paper. Should we do the same thing with your experience, or how do you want us to handle that?
That's not really necessary. Some people will, some people won't. When we're talking about a group, I'm going to presume that there's probably different levels of experience, and we're looking more at an aggregate. If people want to take the time to give me all of that information, that's fine. But
It's on the questionnaires, but I was trying to figure out how you want to handle that.
yeah, because it will be a separate sheet of paper. If they want to take the time and effort, that would be wonderful. But I can live with just having name and title. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I believe 10 years ago when we did this, I'm not sure, but when we had to list our duties and what we did, they had us how many hours a day did it take us to do. Are you interested in how many hours a day it takes us to do certain things?
Did you enjoy doing that?
No, I did not. But I know I put 3 things down. It might take me 6 to 7 hours to do that one thing, but it doesn't look like I
Yeah.
did a whole lot.
Well, part of this process, I hope, is empathy. I would not want to fill that out, so I won't ask somebody else to do it. And I don't know that it helps that much, for the reason you just stated. You can be all over the place, and it's difficult to do. We'll figure it out, and I've done enough of them where I think I can get a sense. Any other questions? Okay, we've touched on timing, we've touched on some of the process. You sure? Okay. Well, we will do the best job possible on this for you. And as I told the other groups, I don't know that everybody will clap their hands in glee at the results, but I do expect that everyone will feel that it's a fair, impartial process that was done with a very good, solid methodology. So that'll be my goal, and thank you for your time and attention.